For more on this story, our guest is Remi PIET, research associate at Florida International University. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us on France 24. Is there any truth to Donald Trump's accusations?
Well, first of all, this allegation that the Russians were developing a specific range of ballistic missile that was in opposition with this treaty, that do not date from the Trump administration. The Obama administration was already making that assumption. But the answer to it is new under Trump. In pulling out of this INF treaty instead of opting for sanctions is clearly a message to the arms industry here in the U.S. and worldwide to develop potentially additional sets of ballistic missiles and cruise missiles to answer potential competition from other countries.
Well, what about the U.S.? I mean, is it true, as Vladimir Putin is saying, that the U.S. is already violating the treaty as well?
The position from Putin is that part of the program of the European shield to ballistic missiles is actually in violation to the treaty, which is a perspective which can be actually let's say put under a different light here. The question whether or not this treaty was preventing the development of new range of missile is actually still up for grab. The issue here today is that the U.S. pulled away from the treaty without prior discussion with Putin, and that actually reinforces the position from Moscow that the U.S. are actually taking unilateral decisions to move away or to build different types of weapons in opposition with international agreements, international treaties. So basically here, this is actually fuel to the fire of Putin, claiming that Donald Trump is unilaterally taking aggressive decisions against Russia, rather than what was the case under the signing of this treaty in 1987 between Reagan and Gorbachev, or between Obama and his counterpart in Russia, of trying to work together towards a new series of joint position towards weapons development.
If the treaty is canceled, what kind of repercussions would that have?
Well, this actually would give a green light for the weapon industry in the U.S. or Russia to actually openly develop new missiles. That also would be an answer to Chinese development today. I mean, clearly it is an opening up to additional and faster weapons race across the world, and who's going to suffer from it are different theaters of operation, whether it's Yemen, whether it's different countries where those missiles are being used today and sold by the U.S. or sold by other countries. So we're moving away from a multilateral position of reductions of weapons globally, and instead we're going back to a realistic world of countries individually arming and developing more and more weapons at the expense of civilians worldwide.
Is there any chance that the treaty can be salvaged? John Bolton saying earlier that nothing had been quite decided yet.
Well, John Bolton is trying to see what could be the reaction from the Russian side, but he's been the most adamant voice against that treaty inside the Trump administration. The question will be, depending on the upcoming midterm election here in the U.S., of what kind of majority Trump will be having and what kind of message it will have to be, passing through Congress. It's likely not to have a majority in Congress after November 6th. The issue will be what strong position from and what diplomatic policy from the U.S. will be carried forward after those midterm elections. But definitely until those midterm elections, and since Trump has a majority in both chamber of Congress and the capacity to develop a specific aggressive diplomatic policy towards other countries, there's not real doubt that those treaties, multilateral treaties, will be condemned and abandoned by that administration. Yes.
All right, Remi PIET, thank you so much for joining us on France 24. You are research associate at Florida International University. Thank you for joining us.